Today, we're talking about a book in the Bible called Hebrews and some of the promises that God gave us in Hebrews. Who can I ask to help me with this? I know, these guys.
Hebrews is a good-sized letter, 13 chapters long, and unlike every other book in the New Testament, we really don't know who wrote it.
Wait, we don't know who wrote it?
Nope. Early on, some thought it was written by Paul, but it isn't his style.
Others thought it came from Paul's friend Barnabas or Apollos, another early church leader. Lately, some think Luke was the author.
Right, but most scholars agree that we just don't know who wrote Hebrews.
So why is it in the Bible then? Shouldn't it get kicked out?
Because the early church leaders knew that even if Hebrews wasn't written by Paul and Barnabas, it was written by someone around Paul and Barnabas. The teaching was good. It fit with the teaching of the other epistles. The early churches used Hebrews to teach, and everyone agreed that it was inspired writing that belonged in the canon.
Canon with one N.
That's right. And no, we don't need to sing about that.
So what's important to know about Hebrews?
Well, it was written for Jews who had become Christians, hence the name. Hebrew is another name for Jewish people.
These were tough times for the early Christians. In the Roman Empire, followers of Jesus could be arrested and thrown in jail. They could have their houses taken from them. They could even be killed. Some Jewish Christians thought maybe they should just go back to being Jewish and forget about the Christian part. Maybe the old system of laws and sacrifices in the temple was better than being arrested.
Right, so the author of Hebrews, whoever it was, wrote this letter to remind them how much better Jesus was as their high priest than the old human high priests at the temple. The old high priests had to make sacrifices for sins every day, but Jesus made a sacrifice on the cross that is good forever. One sacrifice for all God's people for all time. How could they walk away from that?
The author of Hebrews tells them to keep having faith in Jesus, to keep having faith in the promises of God.
Thanks, guys. So what kinds of promises do we find in the book of Hebrews? The first couple of promises are that he promises to write the law on our heart instead of having to have tablets and sacrifices and things like that, and to work in us what's pleasing in his sight. He has promised to remember your sins no more. Wow! That is so amazing. And he has promised that we will be perfected for all time by a single sacrifice. Guess who that was? Jesus. He has promised in Hebrews never to leave us or forsake us. And he has promised to bring good from all our pain. Wow! 7 promises! There are so many more. The Bible is full of promises that God has made for his people, for those of us who love him. And this song reminds us to stay standing on those.